Next thing I know, red and blue lights come on, and I'm like, oh no. Hey there, and welcome to Matt's Garage and Car Stories with Matt. So this story took place in about 2007, and at the time I was actually daily driving a 1985 Chevy C10, like a long box Chevy half-ton, and it wasn't like the fanciest truck or anything. It needed some work, and I had just recently moved and I had used the truck to move and everything, but I was pretty broke and just didn't really have the money to put into anything on this truck, and I had kind of done the minimum to keep it on the road and everything. But one thing that was wrong with it, that I had actually been driving it for quite a while like this, is the speedometer didn't work in it. And apparently I didn't worry about things like that as much back then as I do now. I mean, I drove pretty quickly, so most of the time a speedometer wasn't a really relevant gauge to me. I was normally well into the illegal side of it anyways. So I just kept driving this truck with no speedometer, and one such time I was actually going to visit my parents, who they lived about 8 hours from me at the time. And so naturally I was trying to make some pretty good speed, and I had kind of left after work on a Friday, so it was already, well into the evening when I left. And so by about midway into the trip, I was, about 1 a.m. All the highways were deserted and I was kind of hammered down. And so I was on like this kind of narrow, twisty, dark highway with no real shoulder on the edge or anything, but also no traffic. So I knew I was moving. I didn't know quite how fast I was moving, but I was moving. And then next thing I know, these headlights start catching up to me, get right up behind me, and I'm like, it's weird. I know I'm moving. Why does this guy want to go this fast? But he wasn't passing me either. So I'm like, well, whatever. Pushed the gas pedal down a little more and took it up a notch, and the headlights started to disappear in the mirror. So I'm like, that's great. And then a couple minutes later, I'm just still ripping along, and I notice the headlights are getting closer and closer and closer, and I'm like, what's with that? And then next thing I know, red and blue lights come on, and I'm like, oh no. So, I pull over and everything, and I had my dog with me at the time. I had this dog who was like kind of part Rottweiler, part Border Collie, kind of a Heinz 57, but she was a lovely dog, and she loved riding in the truck with me. So, Kramer was her name, and because her hair stuck up like Kramer from Seinfeld. Anyway, she was along with me. And so I pull over, and like I always do when I get pulled over, I had my license, registration, all my paperwork ready in my hand, window rolled down, all that good stuff. And the cop walks up, good evening, officer, always try to be respectful and everything like that. And he's like, you know how fast I clocked you? And I said, you know what, honestly, I couldn't tell you. I said, honestly, I've been working at fixing this truck up. I'm just really broke right now, and the speedometer's actually not working on it right now, and it's one of the things I haven't been able to fix yet. And the funny part is, as I'm saying all this, as I'm talking to the cop, I kind of glance over at my dog, and my dog is just sitting there like this, just like looking up at the cop with her brown eyes, like, please don't do anything to my master. Please just let him go. He's a good guy. Like, if dogs could speak, you could tell that was her kind of expression. And I honestly think that helped my case for sure. But he had clocked me at 139 kilometers an hour, which is equivalent to around 80 miles per hour. And I think it was a 90 zone here. To make matters worse, it was only 90 kilometers an hour, 55 miles per hour on this particular stretch of highway. And so he's like, there's no other cars out here, but he says, we get a lot of moose hits and stuff on this road. So he says, I'm kind of worried about you going these kind of speeds. You need to to take it down a notch. So he says, I'm just going to let you off with the warning, and you continue on safely tonight. And so I thanked him, of course, and I was just like, wow, that's, I never, as soon as he told me what speed I was going, I thought I was kind of screwed, because 1 kilometer an hour faster is actually dangerous driving. If you're clocked at 140 or higher in Alberta, I believe that's automatically a dangerous driving ticket. So you really don't want to get that one. So I'm very, very thankful to that really nice officer. He probably could have impounded my truck too, because I mean, I had no way of telling how quick I was going. So it was mighty cool of him to let me go, and especially with a warning. I do hope you enjoyed this car story with Matt, and have yourself a wonderful day.